Hey guys, so welcome back. Today we're going to be getting this over to the drag strip and fooling around over there. Hopefully everything goes good. And let me run you by just a few things that I did over the last couple days, just tinkering here and there after work. So the other day I was driving around town. It just seemed like it was running a little hot. And so I made the mistake before of plugging off my steam ports. I went from like a small block Chevy with the coolant through the whole intake and the thermostat on the highest point of the coolant system to this, and I thought this was actually just to heat the throttle body. So I capped it off and I was wrong. So what I did is I ran that head into the throttle body on the other side and then just jury rigged this one to run down into the water pump where I tapped it here, drilled and tapped it, and now when I fire it up you can see the coolant just get sucked right out of the top of the heads. So what was happening is I was creating these giant steam ports in here. So I was letting this thing run and it got idle, and I noticed that the fans weren't blowing very hard. I mean, they never do, they're not that good at fans, but I was feeling it. I'm like, man, they're not blowing that hard. So I looked, came over to my Holly, a little Holly screen in there. It was reading, it's like 11.2 volts. I was like, oh man, my junkyard alternator finally gave up. So I'm looking around, looking for loose connections, couldn't find them. So I ran over, grabbed my my battery charger, put it on like a 40 amp boost, stuck it to the battery, and the voltage went back up. And I was like, all right. And the fans are blowing. So I reached my hand over there, put my hand in front of the fan, and it was blowing like ice cold. It was blowing really good, but it was blowing really cold. Felt the radiator was cold. I was like, like instantly I knew that it wasn't cycling coolant. So I run over, check out the Holly, and she was at like 245 degrees. Shut her down as fast as I could. Started looking into it, and my buddy's like, oh yeah, how do you have your steam ports routed? It's like, steam ports, like coolant overflow. He's like, no, your steam ports. He told me to Google steam ports, so I did, and found out that I was really messing up for like the last 2 months driving without steam ports. But so I thought I damaged it, but I think there was just so much steam that it got into the water pump, and it was just by not spinning coolant around in there or something. But anyways, so I routed that up. Here, I'll give her a quick fire up for you guys. So guys, there you see it. We're off to the races. Got my old helmet that I inherited from one of my buddies from dirt biking 20 years ago. Somehow it still fits on my head. And yeah, I'll get going on the track, and I'll see you guys shortly. The charge pipe, I just let off because I had no boost, so I'm gonna have to go put that back on. I brought a couple tools for that. Try again. Pipes back on. I'm running 25 pounds in the tires. Hey, no worries. First time I've ever had wheel hop. Fuck yeah, buddy! So I got 8.57 or 8.56 at 92 miles an hour. See if we can get a little quicker than that. go. Fuck. No leaks, but I broke something. Hey, about time. Yeah, exactly.
You got a hook under there or something?
Yeah, yep.
Where you park at? Where you want to to?
Doesn't matter. I'm not really
Just getting an opening?
Yeah, thank you. Oh, that's never good. So I was ripping along pretty good. She finally hooked, and she hooked hitting second, and she ended up, I think, busted my diff, or hopefully an axle. I'm really hoping it's an axle, but it doesn't feel like it. But we'll see. Keep you guys posted. So as you guys can see, I ended up chowdering the gears in the Dana 36. I found a Dana 44 down in Massachusetts with 345 gearing. I'm going to end up going down there to get that. And if I damage that one, I'll try and shift a little bit easier. But if I do end up damaging it, I'll end up getting the Gladiator kit online. It's gonna that right now is around like $3,000, but it is still cheaper than the straight axle swap. And I don't really want to sacrifice the street ability by doing like a straight axle swap. From talking to somebody that has done that on their C4, the back of the car sits really high. You have to do a little bit of custom fabrication to get it to sit a little lower. But it still looks like it sits way too high for regular street use. Just, I'm not gonna be able to take corners and stuff. So I'm gonna try and keep the independent rear suspension. Also, you know, maybe running like 700-800 wheel horsepower without worrying about blowing anything up like I did in this video. I'll try and do a better job at explaining what I'm doing in the video and the steps to, you know, removing the IRS and getting the new one in. I'll get some video putting in the poly bushings that I got. So I have a full front and rear poly bushing kit. So I'll finally be able to put my 12-ton press to use. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video, and hopefully I'll be back to street night in no time.